Um, Hi, good afternoon to everybody. It's Saturday afternoon, and my name is Shumak Rai Chaudhary. I'm the director of AAVSO in Pune, and welcome to everybody listening in. It looks like there are people from many, many time zones. In particular, our speaker today has just woken up, and it's very, very early on there. As we say bye to the sun, she is welcoming on the other side of the world the sun coming up there. What the whole point of this awesome astronomy series that we are hosting here in AAVSO is to bring together astronomy enthusiasts from all over India, in particular, anywhere in the world in general, and to have a common platform in which we discuss issues that that are of interest to amateur astronomers, and also bringing professionals in touch with amateur astronomers to look at the resources that are available all over the world to do so. And if you remember, we had two speakers from Hawaii last time talking about a network of telescopes all over the world. And today we are very, very happy to have with us Dr. Stella Kafka from the American Astronomical, American AAVSO, which is based in Cambridge, Mass. One of the things I wanted to say is that from AAVSO's point of view, we consider this a wonderful activity for us, which is a kind of natural extension to what we normally do. The Inter-University Center for Astronomy Astrophysics was set up 30 years ago to bring together students and faculty from colleges and universities all over India, and to get them together to do research and teaching activities together in astronomy astrophysics. In the 80s, astronomy was not a very popular subject in universities in India, but we've grown together, and at the same time, from the very beginning, we've had a role in bringing together amateur astronomers together with professionals in sharing resources and getting interested in astronomy and in general outreach exercises. So this is part of that whole mission that we had very early on, and now we find that the pandemic has brought us together in a way that it's made these resources available to us so that we can use these online resources to communicate with a much, much larger audience than we normally do. And so, having said that, welcome again. Please stay with us throughout the series, and we'll try and see whether we can bring together the world of amateur astronomy and professional astronomy together to make these resources much more available, much more widely available to everybody. Hand you over to Samir, who will take over from now on. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rai Chaudhary, and warm welcome to everyone, including our speaker, Dr. Stella Kafka. And the participants, I can see there are about 90 people attending right now, and we hopefully more people will keep joining soon as we are close to the tea time. And cheers to Kafka, Dr. Kafka here. She's sharing her coffee with us, and we are having tea here in India. So those people who like tea. And here we are with the second talk in this series for the awesome amateur astronomers of our country, and in fact in the region, because I know we have been joined by some members from other countries, including the close by Bangladesh and Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam. So I welcome everyone from all over the world in a way to this talk series. And as Professor Rai Chaudhary has said that he has for a long time seen the development of amateur astronomy in this region, and how special the contribution of all of you has been. So I can see that a lot of new generation amateurs are coming up, and they need to be aware of what are the places where they can contribute with, even with a small telescope that they may have. Or these days there may be data sets available which they could go through and find some scientific information in there. So to introduce you to this special field of variable star observations and how you can contribute to a lot of good data to this field. We have today with us Dr. Stella Kafka from the the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And this is a well-known organization amongst people who have been contributing from India. And today she has agreed to introduce us to this organization again in a different way, in her own perspective, especially concentrating on how you all can contribute to this and how AAVSO basically contributes to the variable star research across the world. So a quick introduction to our speaker today. She has had a lot of experience in astrophysics research, and she's traveled the world, in fact, a lot. And I can see that she's she's done her bachelor's degree in Greece and then in the USA, a lot of places. She has been to Chile as well, where she has done some observational astronomy. And she has now joined the AAVSO as the director and the CEO. Now, she, of course, has a lot of connections all over the world, and she has a lot of respect amongst the observers community. And particularly, she likes to build communities. So that is her favorite thing. And therefore, she is here to interact with our community here in India and help us understand the workings of AAVSO and the special place of variable star observations and how all of you could contribute to that. So I welcome Dr. Kafka to the stage, and over to you.
All right. So let me start by sharing my screen. First, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having your tea with me. It's actually a great pleasure to be with you today. And thank you for the opportunity to talk to you, to all of you from the other side of the world. It's amazing what technology can do for us nowadays. As mentioned, my name is Stella Kafka. I am the Executive Director and CEO of the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And today I would like to discuss how the AAVSO can help you join this exciting quest of understanding variable stars, how you can actually contribute to cutting edge research alongside hundreds of professional and non-professional astronomers, professional and amateur astronomers. So I hope that by the end of this presentation, I will manage to convince you to join us. And I would like to ensure you that we will be by your side to help you on your quest, on your exploration of the night sky all the way. First, let me introduce the AAVSO itself. We were formed in 1911, more than 100 years ago, as an association to do citizen science. Actually, we were the first organization in the world that was actually formed in order to connect professional and amateur astronomers for research. The director of the Harvard Observatory gathered a group of amateur astronomers for his research. So here's the AAVSO. Since then, since our foundation, we have really evolved to an international association with members and observers all over the world. So these are where our members and observers are, and we do have some in India as well. The reason why we do what we're doing is because we want to enable anyone, anywhere to participate in scientific discovery through variable star astronomy. And you see some very strong words in our mission statement. You see enable, so we provide the necessary resources and opportunities, and it doesn't really matter what your professional background is. Anyone, equal opportunities, independent or on who you are, what kind of accents you might have. Anywhere, access to our resources is independent of geographical location. You should be able to access what we have from your home. And my favorite one is participate. Be actively engaged with the AAVSO, with the AAVSO community, with variable stars in various ways. So as a consequence, we have a very diverse community. This translates to serving people with different needs, different priorities, different professional preparation, habits, and cultural backgrounds who are united under the international umbrella of astronomy. We have individuals who are interested in using variable star data for their research projects, professional astronomers, students, educators. We work a lot with teachers who introduce astronomy to their students. We collaborate with a very dedicated group of volunteers. And of course, we have our observers, those who acquire data through their telescopes, CCDs, DSLR cameras, or binoculars, and share this information with a wider community through the AAVSO International Database. So at the very core of our community are variable stars. Variable stars are stars whose brightness is changing with time, within time scales we can observe. In other words, the stars we're uh, interested in change with time on time scales of hours, days, months, and we can measure those changes from here, from the Earth, with all kinds of means. Again, our eyes, CCD cameras, DSLR cameras. And here's my favorite example. That is actually a little movie that was compiled of three different pictures that were taken of the same object. This is a globular cluster, M3, and this was taken within the timescale of the same night. If you pay attention to this particular picture, you will see that most stars don't do much. However, as I said, this is a movie. So as the frames change, if you pay very close attention, you will see some stars that are blinking. Can you point to the variables? So those are the variable stars. These are stars that are change their brightness for all kinds of different reasons. And by studying them, we actually understand their nature. So here are some of the examples of why stars might change their brightness. For example, we have eclipsing binaries. There are two stars together that are moving around the common center of mass. And as one is passing in front of the other, the collective light is dropping. So pretty much we see a drop in brightness in a very characteristic way. We have spotted variables, stars that have big star spots on their surface and change their brightness as the star rotates and the spot comes in and out of the line of sight. They're pulsating stars, stars whose size is changing with time. It's physical size, so they expand and they contract, and as a result, they change their brightness. We have supernovae that are dramatic explosions in the universe. We have cataclysmic variables, novae, where a white dwarf is ejecting material in the interstellar medium. These are just some of the examples of the stars that our observers collect data on and try to understand. And actually, the output of our citizen scientists' work, the output of our observers' work, routinely is presented in the astronomical literature with many of our observers, many of our members as co-authors in very high-profile papers. So what I would like to actually convince you today is that if you can do something like that, you can take a picture with your telescopes or your DSLR camera and you can process it. Or if you have an interest in analyzing data, if you have computer skills, you can definitely do variable stars. You can definitely join the AAVSO's work and collect data, analyze data, and publish data if you're interested in. So from here on, I'm going to dedicate the rest of the presentation to tell you how the AAVSO can help you learn more about variable stars, start your own observing program, join the conversation, and join and help us all understand what these stars are about. All our resources are open source, they're free. So you're very welcome to actually go back to our web pages at some point and take a look at anything that you're interested in, download it and join us. So you can learn more about all types of variable stars through the AAVSO's observing section. These have information about all types of objects, including exoplanets, high energy targets such as gamma ray bursts and novae, alongside information, instrumentation, and equipment, which can be of interest of some of our observers. Here's an example of what kind of information you can find in our observing sections, and I'm using the exoplanet section as an example. You can find general information in this particular case on exoplanets and why it's important to observe them, how you can observe them, what kind of means you have. You can get a way to join the section, be part of the conversation. You can get all kinds of useful links, including links to manuals and courses that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but also you can get a target list through that and a link to relevant forums. where you can join the conversation. And speaking of forums, this is actually essential for us, for our international community, to communicate and interact, exchange ideas and share information. And they're open to people from all over the world. So you can just go to our forums and post something if you're interested in, or ask a question, or participate in somebody else's post. This is again an example from the Exoplanet Forum. So subjects that are being discussed are related to observing campaigns, observing modes, specific exoplanet transits, questions on instrumentation, software, something that somebody noticed in the night sky, they would really like somebody's opinion, et cetera, et cetera. So our forums are very science and variable star focused. And they are there to build a community, right? To bring everybody together around the conversation. The AAVSO also provides training material, material that could actually help you get started with your observation. We have manuals and guides for observation that are translated in various languages by our volunteers, but also they're free to download. So they have to do with different modes of observation, like how to observe with a CCD or a DSLR camera, or even visual, but also specific aspects of observation. So for example, how to observe the sun, safely observe the sun, solar observing. The sun is a variable star, and we have a very active solar section. How to observe exoplanets, including manuals on the relevant software that you would use. We have what we call choice courses. These are 4-week online courses based on our forums. These enable people from all over the world to participate, and they teach modes of observation and relevant software for data reduction and analysis. Actually, they can take you from how to do a specific type of observation all the way down to how to submit your own data in our databases. And we have a very active peer mentoring program. We would like this is actually an opportunity to enhance our observers' technical skills, provide advice from experts. We connect experienced observers with novices in order to actually exchange information. The main way that we connect people around research is actually engaging them in specific scientific projects and or specific scientific targets. This is one way that we engage our observers in critical scientific projects. This is our alerts to which you can subscribe, which are pretty much notifications to our community of observers about stars that are in need of data because something very special happens. So for example, when there's a nova eruption that is happening and people really need ground-based observations, usually professional astronomers come and ask data of the observer community through our alerts. And actually, these are open to anyone to join. As I said, you can subscribe. This is just an example of one of our alerts. Here's the ground-based light curve that was built by our community. And that was in collaboration with individuals who had time with the Hubble Space Telescope and Chandra X-ray Telescope. So we were taking simultaneous data from space-based resources and ground-based resources to build a data set and study this particular event. We also foster partnerships with high-profile scientific collaborations and invite our observers and our members to join. This is an example, again, from ground-based follow-up for tests. We were very key in order to confirm exoplanets, identify false positives due to eclipsing binaries, provide long-term light curves of interesting targets, improve ephemeridess, all kinds of things. We have a very active exoplanet group, and we have been involved with the test professional community very closely. And we actually are planning a longer-term project where our observers are going to be working with a group from NASA JPL in order to acquire light curves. So I can tell you more about that later if you're interested. At the same time, you can actually select your own targets, build your own observing program if you want to. And this is through our targets tool. So this is pretty much a platform that has stars that are in need of observing. So what you find in there is target information, where it is in the sky, what constellation it is, its maximum and minimum brightness, all kinds of things like that. You can see an observing cadence, how frequently we recommend this target to be observed, whether it's part of an alert. So you'll see a little symbol right there, and a flag that actually tells you which of these targets are in need of observation. You can select stars based on the variable star type, for example, whether they're exoplanets or binary stars, cataclysmic variables, etc. And if you sign up, you can get targets that are visible from your own location. You can use this tool any way you want. You can plan your entire observing program, 1 hour of observing through this, like a whole week of observing. It's, again, open source to everyone. We also provide practical tools that facilitate observations. Through our variable star plotter, we provide finding charts and appropriate comparison stars for each star field based on what kind of equipment you might have. So you will have a different kind of finding chart, a chart that shows you where your star of interest is. We have tools for uploading and downloading data to our databases and from our databases. We have a tool to visualize your data. So this is our light curve generator, which plots our data, your data, alongside data of other observers. And you can actually see where your data points are. You can zoom in and out. You can see who else was observing at the same time as you did these different targets. Most of the times, actually, data sets at specific nights are very unique. So your contribution is very unique to a light curve, but this tool brings everything together. And we also have a variable star index, which provides information on variable stars. This is a super catalog, which includes known information of more than 2 million variable objects right now. But at the same time, if you discover a new variable star, you can enter it on VSX and get credit for your discovery. So you are the discoverer of this particular one. We have software tools for data processing and analysis. So this is VFOT, which extracts light curves from a time series of CCD or DSLR images, and VSTAR that allows you to plot your own light curves from your computer or from our database and do some analysis of your own. At the very center of our program and our most valuable assets are our databases. This is the AAVSO International Photometry database, and pretty much what I'm showing here is how it's grown in size with time since pretty much we started our work. We have more than 42 million data points. All these data have been collected by people like you, by people with small telescopes who were actually observing different variable stars. We have about 30,000 variable stars in our database. Some of these data have 100 years of observation. So it's a very valuable and very unique database and data sets that is being used by professional astronomers all over the world all the time. Here at headquarters, we are focusing on data quality to make sure that all the data that are being submitted are of a certain quality that is enabling people to actually do research. A very recent development, we have a new exoplanet database, which is hosting data of exoplanet transits from our community and help conduct all types of research. It is an open access repository, has been used widely already by professional astronomical community. This is something that we are improving continuously. We also started a spectroscopy program. It has its own observing section. It has its own information. It has its own database. We launched it actually about almost exactly a year ago, and it has more than 4,000 data points in there by observers from all over the world. The main idea with the spectroscopy database is to build a long-term baseline of stellar spectra alongside the long-term light curves and try to understand some very passing phenomena from a different sort of point of view. All spectra that are being submitted here are hand-validated. So they are checked for quality. And at this point, I am involved in that process as well. Our focus again is data quality in here. So you can find all kinds of information on the spectra that we have from the observing section. You can download them if you want. And also you can find information on observers, on our forums, pretty much for the spectroscopy database, what kind of observations you might need on specific stars, what kind of observations exist on specific stars. This year, we also launched a data mining project. This enables people to participate in meaningful research from the comfort of your home. And all you need in principle is your computer and patience. It's not just because of social distancing that prevent people from traveling to observatories. Most of us who live in the suburbs or in big cities, we have challenges such as light pollution or bad weather. And there are lots of times where we just cannot collect our own data. So through these projects, you can find meaningful ways to participate. These inaugural data mining set of projects are based on VSX. You can find periods for stars with unknown values. You can classify stars. You can improve existing variables. You can check different stars. You can actually contribute in a very meaningful way from the comfort of your home just by analyzing data. All the tools to analyze the data are being provided by the AAVSO. So for those of you who are interested in getting involved in some kind of research projects, and don't have your own telescopes, this is a very good way of getting engaged. Please come back for more. Data mining is something that we are going to be doing more of in the following years. Also, we have a journal. Did you know you can actually write your own manuscript and get published? This is a journal that accepts manuscripts from both professional and non-professional astronomers on all types of stellar variability. We welcomed a new editor-in-chief, Professor Nancy Morrison, last year, who brought innovative ideas to the journal, and it's already showcasing results. So it's a very it's an improved product. I'm very proud of this journal. If you do your own research project, you can publish here, or you can read interesting results on variable stars from our community. All the manuscripts are immediately available to all right when they are accepted. It's also a double-blind review journal. What that means is that you don't know who the referee of your article is, but the referee doesn't know who you are. And this actually is helping us remove any unconscious biases and enable both professional and non-professional astronomers to publish as the manuscripts are being judged on merit and not on the identity of the author. We have templates for authors. You can just download a template and edit it with your information, which are in both Word and LaTeX. And they are listed in NASA's ADS system, which actually makes it discoverable by everyone who is interested in reading your research and furthering their own. This summer, we started a webinar series. It has actually ended for 2020. But all the webinars can be found on our YouTube channel for free. This was discussing all kinds of aspects of stellar variability, different variable stars. Was a really fun way of bringing the community together. We had participants from 61 different countries. We did have many participants from India, which really impressed me because the series were taking place at 2:00 in the afternoon here in Massachusetts, which must be very early in the morning in India. But if not anything else, that helped us build the communities that we aspire to build and reach out to people from all over the world, even in a time of social isolation. Just a shout out that our annual meeting is coming up. It's a virtual event. It has two different workshops, one on data mining and another one on spectroscopy. So I would like to invite you to participate. This is how you can actually register to our meetings. And the last thing I would like to actually mention is that we have a youth program, an ambassador program. Many of our young superstars are joining. This is a way to engage and cultivate younger members from all over the world. And actually, we do have two ambassadors from India. We're very proud of them. It's pretty much, this program engages people in any way they're interested in: outreach, research, observing, science communication, social media and videos, mentoring. It's actually building a community that discusses variable star astronomy amongst our younger members. For our ambassadors, AAVSO membership is free. Registration in meetings and workshops are free. They can publish for free. So it's a perk that we're giving these people, but it's wonderful to see this new energy that is being infused in the AAVSO. So with that, I would just want to invite you to join us. India is a part of the world that is in that we don't have many observers. You are covering a very unique part of latitudes, and you are covering a very unique part of the night sky. So for those of you who have the means and the energy and the time and want to be part of a very vibrant community, I would like to kind of invite you to join us. You can find all our resources on our webpage, avso@aavso.org. Here's an email that you can send questions, or if you need more information, please let us know. You know, it's very interesting. Variable stars are amongst the first objects that have been observed, and amongst the objects that have been very impressing people, like nova eruptions, something really bright that appears in the night sky thousands of years ago. And still, we live right now in the golden era of variable star astronomy. There's so many space and Earth missions that aim to explore the night sky and produce interesting stars to study. They're not going to give us answers. They're going to produce mysteries. There are not enough professional telescopes to acquire the data that are needed to solve those mysteries and follow up. So the AAVSO community, the observer community, the citizen science community are essential collaborators for researchers all over the world. If not anything else, we need more observers to acquire and help analyze astronomical data. Here at the AAVSO, we strongly believe that a diverse and inclusive scientific citizen science workforce draws from the widest range of backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences. So we actually want to invite you to come and join this community and be part of the conversation. And with that, I will thank you for your attention and ask if there are any questions for me. And I think I should stop sharing my screen at this point. And
thank you for that enlightening talk, Stella. We have, I think, just to summarize that to all the audience, AAVSO has been an amazing institution for a long time, and as you can see that they've collected data on observations on variable stars for more than a century now. And all this has come from efforts of amateur observers. And I would especially emphasize on observers. And I can see that a lot of effort is there on the data processing these days, data analysis, data mining, especially with all the data that has been collected over the years. But at some point of time, if all of us run data analysis on our computers, I think we're going to run out of data. So we need new data. So I'm sorry, I'm just, it's not debating it. Saying, I'm just trying to, yes, please. I think you're muted.
Unmute. Yes, it's I don't think we will run out of data. Okay. I think we're running out of ideas first on what the data tells us. What I find really interesting is that we are discovering new aspects of stellar variability in stars that we have been observing for centuries. Here's an example: Betelgeuse. This past year, right? What was the deal with Betelgeuse? Betelgeuse is a star, is one of the brightest stars in the night sky, right? The sixth brightest star, actually. And the AAVSO has data in our database that that go back 130 years. So we sort of know what's going on. Well, this past winter, Betelgeuse decided to do something different. From the sixth brightest star, it became the 21st. So we're talking about a dimming, a change in its brightness that was unprecedented. And we knew it was unprecedented because we had 130 years of data. Yes. So it became the star of the season, became the star that every professional and non-professional astronomer, every observer was trying to observe. And guess what? Professional astronomers could not observe Betelgeuse. It was too bright. right?
True.
So all the data, too bright, it's this bright
Exactly.
star. What are you going to do with an 8-meter telescope with it, right?
That's right.
So we built a very beautiful synergy and a wonderful collaboration between the AAVSO observers who could actually take the data and professional astronomers who could take different types of data to try to understand what's going on. So even when, you think you know something about variable stars, just keep an open mind. You never know. I
Sure.
have lots of stories like this to share with of discoveries that happened because our observers paid attention, and actually key discoveries that happened because our observers kept taking data and perhaps poking a little bit on the properties of the star. So I don't think we have enough data.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, I eat my words if you say. I was just trying to say that as you emphasize right now, yes, Betelgeuse suddenly drew our attention, and we needed data, and that would come from observers. So I'm so amazed at looking at all the guides and the help that you have created for the newcomers, the people who want to start observing with maybe with a small telescope. And there's so much, even a mentorship program, a choice course is there, which all of them can use and become good at observing by themselves and contributing data. So I really appreciate that, and I would call on the audience who might, in fact, many of them are students, some of them are already seasoned observers. So all of them can start contributing, and that's what I'm just taking this stage to emphasize that we also need to observe. And of course, you can make, there are so many good tools on your website, aavso.org, and you provide alerts. There's a database of stars to look at, and choose your favorite star to make your own catalog of stars which you observe regularly. That's amazing, and I see a lot of potential for people to get data, give their own data, add that to your data, and then visualize it to feel a sense of collaboration with people across the world, right? Observers across the world. So that is some kind of excitement and fun which I am stressing, and I'm encouraging everybody here to take up. And so just to get into the questions from people about this, I would draw your attention to a question, which is, what is a good telescope for beginners? And is there any specific requirement of a telescope to observe variable stars?
I should stay unmuted. Any telescope in principle, it depends on what you're interested in doing. You can get any small telescope or a pair of binoculars to do visual observing, for example. Betelgeuse, right? It's one of the good targets. If it depends, again, it depends on what you're interested in. So I'm not going to give you specific advice. Just do it, get started. And from there on, you'll see whether whatever is available to you is what you would like. What do you like to keep and continue your observations for? I would actually also like to point out, we have an observing section on telescope and instrumentation. So this is going to give you an idea on what is out there. And if you want to ask specific questions of individuals who are using this kind of observations, this kind of telescopes, I would like to point that there is a forum for that. So ask the community, and this way you're going to learn from other people's experience. If someone is happy with a setup, they will actually give you a recommendation. If you're interested in upgrading your setup or changing it, they will give you a recommendation. People are very honest. We don't promote a specific company or a specific set of filters. We don't have any interest in that. So again, I don't want to give you specific advice simply because it depends on you. It's not like a recipe.
Yes. So I'll just add to this if I may. So we have at IUCA a telescope making program, and we also have a lot of resources online even a video of how to make your own telescope. I can see a lot of comments are saying, where can I buy a telescope? Can you tell me a dealer, etc. We can't do that officially here, but you can actually make your own telescope at low cost. And we know of John Dobson, who created the Dobsonian telescope. That is like the most amazing discovery for amateur astronomers, invention, let's say. And Dobsonian telescopes are really easy to make. All you need is to make them mirror. And we have a lot of instructions, not just from IUCAA, but by others also online, where you can learn how to make your own telescopes. And I have several students over the past decade who have actually ground their own telescope mirrors, polished it, silvered it, and used it to actually observe stars, even variability, with let's say 6-inch telescopes, 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch diameter telescopes. And so there might also be people here who are from, let's say, some physics departments or groups which already have telescopes which are, let's say, 10-inch diameter, or even 12-inch diameter, 14-inch diameter. They are really good, and you can easily use them. But I think you can even do observations like of, let's say, Betelgeuse with 6-inch telescopes. So
yeah, if you have a CCD camera, you can even do exoplanet transits with a 6-inch telescope. There's lots of potential. Again, it depends on what you want. And you're absolutely right. A Dobsonian is a wonderful, wonderful piece of technology that could actually allow you to do your observations.
That's true. So I again urge everyone here to also think of making your telescope at least once, or getting a telescope at some point of time to create your own data for this. Yeah. And the sky is free, the sky is up there, and it's for you to observe and contribute your observations to the community here. So I'll just I'll take another question, which asks, how can I join the community? So of course you've answered it in your talk, but you could briefly
AAVSO at aavso.org if you have any questions, and www.aavso.org. You can just, you can create an account. You don't have to be a member, actually. In order to get an observer code, you can create an account and ask for an observer code. And from there on, the sky is not the limit. All the resources, as I said, even if you don't have an account and you don't have an observer code, all the resources are open source. You can just go and download our manuals and take a look at our forums and go to the observing section and get all the information, download data. It's, as I said, everything is free. So check out our web pages.
And you have courses as well for people who want to learn things. So
yes,
they can be found on your website as well.
Everything's on our webpage, yes.
Webinars are there on your YouTube channel. So
the seminars are on our YouTube channel. Yeah, if you want to check out, especially this past series was based on our observing sections. So if you want to learn more about what the observing sections are doing, go there. We have two different, actually we had two different webinars on instrumentation. And I would like to point out the webinar on spectroscopy was talking about low resolution spectrographs. One of the presenters is an observer who is using a Dobsonian. So if you would like to know how to do spectroscopy with a Dob, check that out. Yeah, it's a wonderful presentation she gave you.
Right, spectroscopy is another great thing which people should try out. I think it's
sure,
with filters and other things of their own making. Lovely. And we have actually, I would invite one of our participants, actually, he's my ex-colleague here at IUCAA. So I'll invite Arvind Paranjpe. Please, I can see you've put up your hand. So could you ask your questions? I'm asking you to unmute and ask your question, please.
Yeah. No, my question was, I just told this to Shomak, that in the predominantly male universe, AAVSO has been run by the better half of the world. And that is, I think the girls in India should remember that I don't notice that most of the AAVSO activities right from the beginning have been women. That's the comment I wanted to make. And as for the telescope making, so Samir, I think there's a lot of resources available on the website. That's just the comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, I mean, you are also inspiring a lot of women scientists of the future who might want to contribute. In fact, there's always a problem, you know, of observing at night, etc. But I think a lot of groups are paying attention to that and encouraging their female members to come and participate and making a safe environment so that they can actually observe by themselves. So that's a positive turn, and of course you're a role model here to all the girls in the group who want to join in.
I wanted to make a comment here. I think
Yes,
Arvind has raised a very important issue. The issue of gender sensitivity is very important. I think India is a very large country in particular. And then if you look at the amateur astronomy community, and I think it was like so even in Europe before, as Samir said, the number of women in being involved, particularly at the societal level, is small. And the practicalities of going out observing in groups, etc., to remote places has always been a problem. I'm sure this is a very general problem. And so at the AAVSO level, can I ask you whether you have any kind of experience to share with us in terms of how other groups of amateur astronomers essentially handle issues like this, being more inclusive in terms of gender and also various kinds of abilities and things like that?
Inclusivity has to do with the opportunities you provide people to actually feel safe in environments to participate. Different cultures, different societies, different countries have different challenges to overcome. And I think that it is up to us who are sensitive in those aspects that we really want to build inclusive communities, to find ways that we do provide avenues for opportunities and avenues for people to participate. I do understand that it might be a challenge for certain individuals to actually go out in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night. And it's one of the things that, you know, it's challenging for young people, right? If you have a 15-year-old child, male or female, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to let it be, again, in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the night, with an adult you don't know. Fact. So at some point, it depends on the local communities. You can actually go as a group, out as a group with individuals whom you know and trust. You can observe the sun. The sun is a variable star. Yes. There is a very active actually group at the AAVSO who does sunspot counts, and there is a reason for that. Again, if you want to learn more about that, we have a webinar. It's on our YouTube channel. Please take a look at it. The sun is a fascinating object to study. And if you're still uncertain and, you know, the realities of the practicalities of real life is that, you know, many of us live in cities, and there's light pollution, there is daytime obligations that does not allow us to spend 3 or 4 hours every night to do observations. You can do data mining. So if you want to be engaged as an individual, you can find ways of doing so. But at the same time, it's up to us, your institute, me, to try to provide avenues and opportunities for people. So I'm not giving you a specific answer in terms of this is what other groups do. This is something that I'm pretty sure that collectively can be figured out by your community.
Great, and I'm sure the community leaders are paying attention here, and
yep.
will be taking steps to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would like to encourage the young individuals in your group to actually consider variable star astronomy as an opportunity. The one thing that we have proven on and off at the AAVSO is that you don't need a high degree in astrophysics in order to do meaningful research. You may be an engineer, you can be a computer scientist, you can be a lawyer, you can be anything you want. Astronomy allows you, the AAVSO helps you to actually do this on your spare time, or whatever time you want to dedicate in a meaningful way, no matter how you contribute. Your contribution is significant. And actually, even if your data does not discover something new right now, you never know what's going to be discovered in the future. Betelgeuse is an example. 130 years of data, and it did something new this time. We know it's new because it hasn't done it before within the recorded history. So it's a very rewarding field, a very rewarding activity to be part of. And I'm very happy to hear that your group is very determined to open this world to everyone in India. And of course, we're here to help. So.
Yes, that's really true. Actually, from the words you said, it brings me to another question, which is here. So this is very specific and asking about what are the kind of career benefits which one can have from being concerned with AAVSO. I'm sure this is from a young student.
Career benefits. Oh, actually, this is an excellent point. So at some point, if you are from a student point, right? If you are an ambassador, you can put on your resume you are an ambassador, so that shows outreach and the engagement within an organization, very prestigious organization. It can hone your public speaking skills. It can bring you up as a new leader in the community, can get you involved with research, so you could get your own project going, depending on what kind of interests you might have. All your activities within the AAVSO is something that you need to put on your resume. And this is something that I am guiding my ambassadors, I am advising my ambassadors to do. So we have individuals who are involved in our observing sections, our observing section leaders. This is a leadership position. We have individuals who observe using either their own telescopes or joining different collaborations. This actually showcases engagement in science. You can actually put your data in our database as a record there. We have individuals who mentor. We have individuals who love outreach, like, being on social media and discussing the AAVSO. And actually, we had a Facebook takeover by one of our ambassadors, our own Facebook pages, where she was discussing different aspects of exoplanets and trying to find the Earth 2.0. It's a fascinating subject. So it's any activity that you do outside your specific curriculum that leads to more of a public and being more of a public face for an organization, for a group, is something that will definitely benefit you in the future. And you don't really know how. You don't know how you will need to actually discuss your skills acquired by being involved, such as presentation, such as leadership, such as engagement, such as community building, management. That's management in principle, right? And actually bringing a project to completion from beginning to the end. So I'm hoping that I will see more engagement from the Indian community or from whomever is actually watching right now in our programs. And I hope that you are including this engagement, this type of engagement everywhere when you're discussing any potential for employment or any potential for furthering your studies.
Yes, that's a very vital point that one should look at careers and doing research, but also maintains doing some outreach as well. So it's a good complementary thing.
And nowadays companies are looking for hard skills, as in, what is your degree, what are your credentials, but also they're looking for soft skills. And this has to do with communication, being a team member, being a responsible individual, can actually complete a project. And this is something that you cannot learn in school. This is something you learn by engagement.
Yes, so that kind of stresses the point of this whole series, that there should be a community, and all of the people who are here or otherwise also should come together and join hands to contribute. Also, they should learn, not just astronomy skills, but community skills, working together. Thank you very much for this. And I can see that we've had a good conversation here for over an hour now, and we are getting close to the end of this talk. But I cannot finish the talk without first admiring your jacket, on which there are so many stars and constellations. It's so amazing.
It's a finding chart. Find the variables. This one's a variable star.
Right. I don't know if there's alcohol on that. It's one of the very famous stars in
maybe
here. Lovely. So that's I cannot so inspiration, and in a way shows how much you're connected with people and astronomy both, and you want to present it to them. Any you want to say something? Sorry.
You know something, I find that exploring the night sky has always been an aspiration for humans. I mean, after the first humans fed themselves and clothed themselves and were sheltered and safe, they looked up and they actually asked, you know, where do we belong? What is out there? And, you know, we are explorers by nature. We have explored the Earth. We have explored our environment. We try to figure out how things work and where we belong in there. And after we've explored our own planet, we want to explore the sky. That's why all these science fiction movies with all kinds of spacecrafts, we can't take a spacecraft right now and go to different stars, but we have other ways to explore. And this is through our telescopes, through our binoculars, through our data. And especially when it comes to variable stars, exploring something that is dynamic in scales that we can't experience. Can you imagine a star expanding and collapsing on timescales of hours? It's insane.
Yes.
It's fascinating, it's empowering, it's fun. It's really fun. Don't take the fun out of the science. And it's scientifically important. And it gives us a sense of who we are, whether we belong, how we came to be as a planet, as a star with a planet, as a star with multiple planets, right? And where we might go in the future. So it's wonderful, wonderful to actually be part of this kind of community. And it's wonderful to learn from each other and explore the sky together. I would like to, you know, I think we've been emphasizing it again and again. Join us.
It's been a pleasure.
Come join us.
Pleasure and listening to you and knowing that we can join an international effort in connecting everyone under this one sky, which is on a very unique planet, and we are here smart enough to look at it and make sense of it. So lovely having this conversation with you, Dr. Stella. I would also point out to all the participants here that this series will continue, and we'll have lectures by other representatives of good organizations who are helping amateur astronomers contribute to science. So I think we are in the talk with the international observers for transients, and the next talk would most probably be on 1st November, and we'll be announcing that. We also, as I said, that we'll follow up this series of talks with some dedicated interactions with you, in which professionals from across India and other parts of the world would be able to connect to you, and we'll have some dedicated, kind of training programs for improving observation skills. So keep a lookout for those notices, everyone. And I think, of course, we'll keep joining you every fortnight with a new talk by another great speaker, just like Dr. Stella here. So thank you very much for joining us here. And thanks everybody in the participants list for being here. And from last time also, we've made a lot of connections. And I have some questions which are very particular questions, but I will be happy to pass them on to the speaker later. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.